Imagine this. It's a quiet evening, and you're sitting at the kitchen table with a warm cup of tea. The house is calm, the day is almost done. But inside your body, something silent may be happening, something that millions of seniors face every year. Your arteries may be narrowing, your blood pressure may be rising, and your risk of stroke could be doubling, without you feeling a single symptom. Here's the truth that most people don't realize. By the time we reach our 70s, the heart and blood vessels have already carried us through billions of beats and miles of circulation. They've worked hard for decades. But unless we care for them properly, they can start to weaken, stiffen, and clog. And that's when trouble begins. Stroke, heart attack, loss of independence. But here's the hopeful part. You don't have to wait for medication or surgery to protect yourself. In fact, some of the most powerful tools for heart and brain health are sitting right in your kitchen. Everyday foods, humble, delicious, natural, can help lower blood pressure, reduce cholesterol, keep blood vessels flexible, and protect you against the #1 killer of seniors, cardiovascular disease. Recent research is clear. Up to 80% of strokes and heart attacks are preventable with the right lifestyle changes. And food plays one of the biggest roles. Choosing the right foods each day can make the difference between years of active independence or years of struggle with hospitals, pills, and wheelchairs. That's why in today's video, we're going to uncover 10 foods that protect your heart and reduce stroke risk after 60. Some you may already know, like beans, tomatoes, or even a little dark chocolate. Others may surprise you, like beets, turmeric, or pomegranates. But all of them are backed by solid science and can be easily added to your daily meals. And here's my promise to you. The final food on this list is something so simple, so common, that many seniors overlook it completely. Yet it may be the easiest way to keep your blood vessels young and your heart strong. Before we begin, let me ask, have you or someone you love ever been told by a doctor to watch your cholesterol, lower your blood pressure, or reduce your risk of stroke? If yes, type 1 in the comments. And if you want to learn natural doctor-approved foods that can help, type Z. And of course, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, because the knowledge you gain here could add not just years to your life, but life to your years. So let's dive in, starting with the very first food that can truly transform your heart health. So let's begin with one of the simplest and most powerful foods for your heart, legumes. These include beans, lentils, and chickpeas. They may look humble, sitting quietly in your pantry, but inside, they are packed with nutrients that can literally reshape the health of your blood vessels. Think of legumes as tiny medicine chests provided by nature. They are rich in soluble fiber, which helps sweep cholesterol out of your bloodstream. They're loaded with plant-based protein, giving you strength without the heavy fats found in red meat. And they're naturally high in folate, potassium, and magnesium, all critical minerals that keep blood pressure steady and arteries flexible. The science behind it. You don't have to take my word for it. Science confirms it. A large study published in the journal Clinical Nutrition found that people who ate beans at least 4 times a week reduced their risk of heart disease by 22%. Another study in Stroke Journal showed that diets rich in legumes lowered the chance of stroke by nearly 24%. And here's something important for seniors. Legumes help control blood sugar. For many older adults, diabetes and prediabetes add to stroke risk. The fiber in beans slows digestion, keeping blood sugar from spiking and protecting delicate blood vessels in the brain. Practical tips for seniors. Now you may be wondering, how can I add more beans to my diet without causing bloating or discomfort? Here are some practical ways. Start small. If you're not used to eating beans, begin with half a cup a few times a week and increase gradually. Choose the right type. Lentils and split peas are often easier to digest than larger beans. Soak overnight. If you cook dried beans, soak them overnight to reduce compounds that cause gas. Try simple swaps. Use beans instead of meat in soups, stews, or tacos. Add chickpeas to salads. Enjoy lentil soup with whole grain bread for a heart-healthy meal. A real-life example. Take John, a 72-year-old retiree from California. His doctor once warned him about high cholesterol and rising blood pressure. Instead of reaching for more pills, John and his wife began making lentil soup twice a week and adding black beans to their salads. Within 3 months, his LDL cholesterol dropped by 15 points and his blood pressure became easier to manage, all without extra medication. The takeaway is clear. Legumes are inexpensive, versatile, and one of the most effective foods you can eat to protect your heart and reduce stroke risk. For seniors, just 1 cup of beans or lentils a few times each week can make a remarkable difference. After talking about legumes, the small but mighty protectors of your heart, let's move to something bright, juicy, and familiar. Tomatoes. Whether you slice them fresh onto a salad, simmer them into a hearty sauce, or drink them as juice, tomatoes bring far more than flavor to the table. They deliver a powerful compound called lycopene, one of nature's strongest antioxidants. Think of lycopene as a shield for your blood vessels. It helps neutralize harmful free radicals that damage artery walls. This protection keeps cholesterol from hardening into dangerous plaques, which are the root cause of strokes and heart attacks. The science behind it research consistently shows the link between tomatoes and reduced stroke risk. In a major study from Finland published in Neurology, men with the highest blood levels of lycopene had a 55% lower risk of stroke compared to those with the lowest levels. Another analysis in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirmed that diets rich in tomato products significantly reduced both LDL cholesterol and blood pressure. For seniors, this is especially important. As we age, our arteries naturally become stiffer, making us more vulnerable to high blood pressure and clot formation. Lycopene helps keep those vessels more elastic and less inflamed, reducing the chance of a blockage that can cut off blood flow to the brain. Practical tips for seniors. The good news: tomatoes are versatile and easy to add to your diet. Here are a few simple ways. Cooked is best. Lycopene becomes more powerful when tomatoes are cooked. Tomato sauce, tomato paste, or even low-sodium tomato soup are excellent options. Pair with healthy fats. Eating tomatoes with olive oil or avocado boosts lycopene absorption. Go for variety. Fresh cherry tomatoes in salads, roasted tomatoes with dinner, or even a small glass of unsalted tomato juice as an evening snack. Check sodium. If you choose canned tomato products or juice, go for low-sodium versions to protect your blood pressure. A real-life example. Consider Susan, a 74-year-old widow from Florida. She had always loved spaghetti but worried it wasn't healthy for her heart. Her doctor encouraged her to keep enjoying it, just with a twist. She began making her pasta with whole grain noodles, fresh herbs, and a rich tomato sauce cooked in olive oil. Over time, not only did her blood pressure stabilize, but she also felt more energized and confident that her meals were protecting, not harming, her health. The bottom line: tomatoes aren't just a colorful side dish, they're a frontline defense against stroke. Adding even half a cup of cooked tomato products to your daily meals can significantly strengthen your arteries and reduce your risk. After the bright, juicy power of tomatoes, let's turn to something a little more indulgent, something many of you may already enjoy, but perhaps feel guilty about. Dark chocolate. Yes, you heard that right. In moderation, dark chocolate isn't just a treat for your taste buds, it can be medicine for your heart. The secret lies in compounds called flavonoids, powerful antioxidants found in cocoa. These flavonoids help relax blood vessels, lower blood pressure, improve blood flow, and even reduce the stickiness of platelets, which means fewer dangerous clots. For seniors, these effects directly translate into a lower risk of stroke and heart attack. The science behind it. Let's look at the evidence. A large study published in the journal Heart followed over 20,000 adults for 12 years. Those who regularly ate small amounts of dark chocolate had a 27% lower risk of stroke and heart disease compared to those who rarely ate it. Another study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that consuming dark chocolate, rich in flavonoids, helped reduce systolic blood pressure by an average of 4 millimeters of mercury, a small number, but enough to lower stroke risk significantly. And here's something worth noting. It's not just about lowering blood pressure. Flavonoids also improve the health of the endothelium, the delicate lining of your arteries, helping blood vessels stay flexible and responsive as you age. Practical tips for seniors. Before you run to the candy aisle, here are some important guidelines. Choose the right kind. Go for chocolate that's at least 70% cocoa. The higher the cocoa content, the more flavonoids and the less sugar. Portion matters. Aim for 1 ounce, about 28 grams, a few times per week. More than that can add too many calories and sugar. Skip the extras. Avoid chocolates filled with caramel, nougat, or heavy cream, as these add unhealthy fats and sugars. Pair wisely. Enjoy a square of dark chocolate with a handful of walnuts, or a cup of green tea for an antioxidant-rich snack. A real-life example. Take Margaret, a 79-year-old retired nurse from Ohio. She always loved sweets, but worried they were bad for her heart. Her doctor suggested replacing her nightly cookie habit with a square of dark chocolate. Within months, Margaret noticed her blood pressure readings were better, and she still got to enjoy a satisfying treat without guilt. The takeaway: dark chocolate isn't forbidden. It can be a heart-healthy ally. When enjoyed in moderation and in its pure form, it provides powerful antioxidants that protect your arteries, support circulation, and lower stroke risk. After discovering that even a sweet treat like dark chocolate can protect your heart, let's move to something earthy, vibrant, and often overlooked in the grocery store: beets. These deep red roots aren't just colorful additions to your plate. They are powerful protectors of your blood vessels. Imagine this. Bill, a 74-year-old retired firefighter from Pennsylvania, had been battling high blood pressure for years. Medications helped, but his doctor recommended adding beet juice to his morning routine. At first, he was skeptical. Beets? Really? But within a few weeks, his blood pressure readings began to improve. Bill was surprised to learn that something as simple as beets could help him feel more energetic and stable. Why beets are powerful. Beets are rich in natural nitrates. Once inside your body, these nitrates are converted into nitric oxide, a compound that relaxes and widens blood vessels. This allows blood to flow more easily, lowering blood pressure and reducing the strain on your heart. For seniors, this is critical because stiff, narrow arteries are one of the biggest drivers of stroke risk. The science behind it. The science here is impressive. A study published in Hypertension found that drinking just 1 cup of beetroot juice daily lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 8 millimeters of mercury. Another trial in the British Journal of Nutrition showed that older adults who consumed beet juice before exercise had 20% better blood flow to the brain, improving not only heart health but also cognitive function. Practical tips for seniors. Beets can be enjoyed in many easy and delicious ways. Juice it. Fresh beet juice, about 1 cup per day, is one of the most effective ways to get those heart-healthy nitrates. Roast it. Roasted beets with a drizzle of olive oil make a colorful and tasty side dish. Salad add-on. Add cooked, sliced beets to salads with walnuts and goat cheese for a senior-friendly heart booster. Powder option. If fresh beets are hard to prepare, beetroot powder stirred into water or smoothies is a convenient alternative. A quick note. Beets may cause your urine or stool to turn red. Don't be alarmed, it's harmless. But if you're on blood pressure medication, Talk to your doctor first before adding beet juice daily, as it may enhance the effects. A real-life reminder. For Bill, that simple addition of beet juice meant fewer dizzy spells and steadier energy throughout the day. It didn't replace his medication, but it became a natural partner in keeping his blood pressure under control. The takeaway: beets are one of the most natural and effective foods for lowering blood pressure and improving circulation. For seniors, just a glass of beet juice or a serving of roasted beets a few times a week can help keep the heart strong and reduce the risk of stroke. After seeing how the deep-bred power of beets can lower blood pressure, let's move to something far more common in every kitchen: garlic. For centuries, garlic has been used as medicine, and modern science now proves what our grandparents already knew. Those tiny cloves can work wonders for the heart. Take the story of Helen, a 78-year-old grandmother from Ohio. She'd always added garlic to her cooking, but never thought much about it. After her doctor warned her about rising cholesterol, Helen decided to take garlic more seriously. She began using fresh garlic in her soups and stews, and within a few months her cholesterol levels improved, and she felt more energized. What she once thought of as just a seasoning became part of her daily heart protection. Why garlic works. The magic of garlic comes from a compound called allicin. When garlic is chopped or crushed, allicin is released, and that's where the health benefits begin. Allicin helps lower blood pressure by relaxing blood vessels, reduce LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, prevent blood clots by making platelets less sticky. For seniors, this means better circulation, lower stroke risk, and healthier arteries. The science behind it research backs this up. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of Nutrition found that garlic supplements lowered total cholesterol by an average of 17 milligrams per deciliter in adults with high cholesterol. Another study in hypertension research showed that aged garlic extract reduced systolic blood pressure by about 10 millimeters of mercury, a drop big enough to reduce stroke risk significantly. And here's the best part. Garlic is inexpensive, widely available, and easy to use every single day. Practical tips for seniors. To get the most from garlic, here are some senior-friendly tips. Use it fresh. Chop or crush garlic, then let it sit for 10 minutes before cooking. This allows allicin to fully develop. Cook gently. Too much heat can destroy allicin. Add garlic toward the end of cooking for maximum benefit. Try roasted garlic. Roasting whole cloves makes garlic sweet and soft, easy to spread on whole grain toast. Consider supplements. If fresh garlic is difficult to digest, aged garlic extract capsules are available. But always check with your doctor first. A quick note: garlic can thin the blood. If you're taking anticoagulant medications like warfarin, consult your doctor before adding large amounts of garlic or supplements. A real-life reminder. For Helen, garlic became more than just flavor. It became a daily step toward protecting her independence. She still cooks her famous garlic chicken for Sunday dinners, but now she knows that every bite is helping her heart. The takeaway: garlic is proof that powerful medicine doesn't always come in a pill bottle. Just a few cloves a day, fresh, roasted, or added to meals, can strengthen your arteries, lower your blood pressure, and reduce your risk of stroke. After seeing how garlic, a simple kitchen staple, can protect your heart, let's turn to something golden, warm, and healing: turmeric. Known for centuries in traditional medicine, turmeric has become one of the most studied spices in the world, and at the center of its power is a compound called curcumin. Let's look at Frank, a 76-year-old veteran from Texas. He used to suffer from stiff joints and high blood pressure. His daughter suggested he try adding turmeric tea to his evening routine. At first, he resisted. Tea with spice in it? But after a few weeks, Frank noticed not only less joint pain, but also steadier blood pressure readings. Later, his doctor explained, curcumin doesn't just soothe inflammation in the joints, it also protects the lining of blood vessels, reducing the chance of clots that can trigger a stroke. Why turmeric helps the heart. Curcumin, the bright yellow pigment in turmeric, is a powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. Here's what it does for seniors. Reduces inflammation in the arteries, slowing the buildup of dangerous plaques. Improves endothelial function, helping blood vessels relax and keep blood flowing smoothly. Fights oxidative stress, protecting the brain and heart from cellular damage. For seniors over 70, where inflammation and stiff arteries are common, this makes turmeric a natural ally. The science behind it. Research in the American Journal of Cardiology found that curcumin supplementation lowered the risk of heart attack in bypass surgery patients by 65%. Another study in Nutrition Journal showed turmeric improved endothelial function in middle-aged and older adults, making their arteries more flexible, much like what happens when you exercise. These findings show that turmeric is not just a kitchen spice, it's a protective agent for your blood vessels. Practical tips for seniors. So how can you add turmeric safely and deliciously? Golden milk, warm milk, or almond milk, with turmeric and a pinch of black pepper before bed. Black pepper increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. Cooking. Add turmeric powder to soups, stews, scrambled eggs, or roasted vegetables. Supplements. Curcumin capsules are available, but always talk to your doctor before starting. Note: turmeric can thin the blood. If you are already on anticoagulants, consult your doctor before using high doses. A real-life reminder. For Frank, that simple evening ritual with turmeric tea didn't just soothe his joints, it gave him peace of mind that he was actively protecting his heart. What began as a small change turned into a habit that made him feel stronger, calmer, and more in control of his health. The takeaway: turmeric is more than a spice. It's a golden shield for your arteries. Adding just half a teaspoon a day can help lower inflammation, support circulation, and keep stroke at bay. After the golden shield of turmeric, let's move to something just as ancient, but perhaps even more comforting: a warm cup of green tea. For centuries, green tea has been treasured in Asian cultures as a drink for longevity. Modern science now confirms what tradition always believed. Green tea is not just soothing, it's one of the best natural protectors of your heart and brain. Picture Eleanor, a 75-year-old widow from California. Every evening after dinner, she sits on her porch with a cup of green tea. At first, it was simply a calming habit that reminded her of her younger days. But over time, she noticed her blood pressure readings became steadier, and she felt more energized in the mornings. When her doctor explained the science, Eleanor realized that her simple tea ritual was one of the best choices she could make for her heart. The secret lies in compounds called catechins, a type of antioxidant found abundantly in green tea. These catechins help relax blood vessels, improve circulation, reduce LDL cholesterol, and lower inflammation inside the arteries. For seniors, that means less strain on the heart and a reduced chance of blood clots that can trigger strokes. Science supports this power. A large Japanese study that followed over 40,000 adults found that those who drank 2 to 3 cups of green tea daily had a significantly lower risk of both heart disease and stroke. Another study in the journal Stroke showed that people who regularly drank green tea reduced their stroke risk by nearly 20%. That's a huge impact from something as simple as a daily beverage. So how can you make green tea work for you? It's easier than you think. Try drinking 2 to 3 cups each day. Brew it fresh and don't load it with sugar. If you need a touch of sweetness, add a drizzle of honey. You can enjoy it warm in the winter or iced in the summer. For those sensitive to caffeine, choose decaffeinated green tea, which still contains powerful antioxidants. And here's a simple tip. If you already drink coffee, consider swapping 1 cup of coffee each day for green tea. Your heart and blood vessels will thank you. One small note of caution. Green tea can interact with certain medications, especially blood thinners. If you're on prescription drugs, check with your doctor before making it a daily habit. For Eleanor, that evening cup of green tea became more than just comfort. It became part of her protection plan. She no longer sees it as just a drink, but as a simple, natural medicine that keeps her strong for the people she loves. The bottom line is this: green tea is a gentle daily ally for seniors. It calms the mind, protects the heart, improves circulation, and reduces stroke risk, all in a cup that costs only pennies a day. Ames, after the calming green of tea, let's turn to something bold, vibrant, and jewel-like: the pomegranate. This ruby red fruit has been celebrated since ancient times as a symbol of health and longevity. And today, science confirms that those bright seeds are not only beautiful, but also powerful protectors of the heart and brain. Take Henry, a 79-year-old grandfather from Florida. He used to joke that pomegranates were too much work. Too many seeds, too messy. But when his daughter introduced him to pomegranate juice, everything changed. Within a few months, Henry's cholesterol dropped, and his doctor noted his arteries were showing healthier signs on his routine checkups. What Henry thought was just another fruit turned out to be part of his heart's defense team. So why are pomegranates so powerful? The secret is in their polyphenols and anthocyanins, strong antioxidants that reduce inflammation and prevent the buildup of plaque in the arteries. They also improve blood flow, keeping vessels flexible and less likely to narrow or clog. For seniors, this means less risk of strokes, heart attacks, and vascular dementia. The science here is striking. A study published in Atherosclerosis found that seniors who drank just one glass of pomegranate juice daily for a year reduced the thickness of their carotid arteries by up to 30%. Another study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that pomegranate juice lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 12 millimeters of mercury. These numbers are not small. They're the kind of improvements that can dramatically reduce stroke risk. So how can you add pomegranates to your diet? There are many simple ways. You can eat the seeds fresh, sprinkled over yogurt, oatmeal, or salads. You can blend them into smoothies for a tart, refreshing flavor. Or, if convenience is important, drink a small glass of pure pomegranate juice each day. But be sure to choose one with no added sugar. For seniors managing blood sugar, start with half a glass and monitor your response. One quick note: pomegranate juice can interact with certain medications, especially for cholesterol and blood pressure. So always check with your doctor before making it a daily habit. For Henry, that simple switch to pomegranate juice became a lifesaver. Not only did it make his meals more colorful, but it gave him peace of mind that he was actively protecting his arteries with every sip. The bottom line is this: pomegranates are not just fruit. They are natural artery cleansers. Adding them to your daily diet is one of the sweetest, simplest ways seniors can fight back against stroke and heart disease. After the ruby red strength of pomegranates, let's move to something much smaller but no less powerful: our flaxseeds. At first glance, they may look like nothing more than tiny brown or golden specks. But inside, these seeds carry a nutritional punch that can transform heart health, especially for seniors. Think about Ruth, a 73-year-old retired teacher from Arizona. She had been struggling with high cholesterol and occasional spikes in blood pressure. At her daughter's suggestion, she started adding a spoonful of ground flax seeds to her morning oatmeal. At first, it seemed too simple. How could a few seeds make any real difference? But after several months, Ruth's cholesterol readings dropped, and her doctor praised the improvement. Now she never skips her daily flaxseed ritual. Why are flax seeds so powerful? They are one of the richest plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a type of omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-3s help reduce inflammation, keep arteries flexible, and improve circulation. all key in lowering stroke risk. Flax seeds are also packed with soluble fiber, which helps lower LDL cholesterol, and lignans, plant compounds that protect blood vessels from oxidative stress. The science here is impressive. A Canadian study published in Hypertension followed seniors with high blood pressure who consumed 30 grams of ground flax seeds daily for 6 months. Their systolic blood pressure dropped by 10 millimeters of mercury and diastolic by 7 millimeters of mercury, reduction strong enough to cut stroke risk by nearly half. Another study in Nutrition Reviews showed that flaxseed consumption lowered LDL cholesterol by 15% on average. So how can seniors add flax seeds easily? Here are some tips. Always choose ground flax seeds. Whole seeds often pass through the body undigested. Add a tablespoon to oatmeal, yogurt, or smoothies. Mix flax seeds into soups, baked goods, or even sprinkle over salads. Start slow. Begin with 1 teaspoon a day and gradually increase to avoid digestive discomfort. One small caution. Flax seeds are high in fiber, so drink enough water to avoid constipation. And if you're on blood-thinning medications, talk to your doctor before taking large amounts. For Ruth, that one small daily spoonful became her secret weapon. It wasn't a pill, it wasn't expensive, it was just a seed. Yet it gave her back a sense of control over her health, and the reassurance that she was doing something each morning to protect her heart and brain. The bottom line is this. Flax seeds may be tiny, but their impact is mighty. For seniors, just 1 to 2 tablespoons of ground flax seeds daily can lower cholesterol, reduce blood pressure, and cut stroke risk in a way that feels almost effortless. After seeing how something as tiny as flax seeds can make a mighty difference, let's end with a food that feels familiar, cozy, and comforting. Sweet potatoes. Unlike regular white potatoes, which can spike blood sugar and add strain on the arteries, sweet potatoes are packed with nutrients that actively protect the heart and brain. Meet George, a 77-year-old retired carpenter from North Carolina. He always loved baked potatoes with butter, but after a mild stroke scare, his doctor encouraged him to swap white potatoes for sweet potatoes. At first, George thought it was just another diet rule. But after a few months of enjoying roasted sweet potatoes with cinnamon, he noticed his blood pressure improved, his energy lasted longer through the day, and even his doctor was impressed with his progress. Why are sweet potatoes so special? First, they are one of the richest natural sources of potassium. Potassium helps balance sodium in the body, lowering blood pressure and easing the strain on arteries. In fact, the American Heart Association notes that increasing potassium intake can reduce stroke risk by as much as 27%. Sweet potatoes are also high in dietary fiber, which lowers LDL cholesterol, and contain powerful antioxidants like beta-carotene and vitamin C, which protect artery walls from damage. The science backs it up. A study in the Journal of Nutrition found that diets rich in potassium from foods like sweet potatoes significantly reduce the risk of both ischemic and hemorrhagic stroke. Another clinical review highlighted that seniors who regularly consumed high-fiber root vegetables, including sweet potatoes, had lower cholesterol and more stable blood sugar, 2 key factors in preventing stroke. So how can seniors enjoy sweet potatoes in heart-healthy ways? It's simple. Bake or roast them with a sprinkle of cinnamon or rosemary for a naturally sweet, satisfying dish. Swap for white potatoes in meals. Mashed sweet potatoes with olive oil make a creamy, heart-healthy side. Add to soups and stews for extra flavor, fiber, and nutrients. Avoid frying them or loading them with sugar and marshmallows. This takes away the benefits. For George, making that simple swap didn't feel like punishment. It felt like an upgrade. Instead of giving up something he loved, he found a new favorite that actually loved him back, protecting his heart and reducing his risk of another stroke. The bottom line is this. Sweet potatoes are comfort food with a purpose. They're nourishing, versatile, and one of the easiest ways seniors can add potassium, fiber, and antioxidants to their diet, all while keeping their heart and blood vessels strong. When it comes to stroke prevention, many seniors imagine strict diets, gym memberships, or complicated routines. But the truth is, some of the most powerful habits for your heart can be done right at home, without special equipment, and often in just a few minutes a day. Let's look at 3 simple, realistic habits that anyone over 60 can start today. 1. Drink a glass of warm water before bed and after waking up. This may sound almost too simple, but hydration is critical for seniors. Overnight, the body loses water through breathing and sweating, making the blood thicker and more likely to clot in the early morning hours, the most dangerous time for strokes. By drinking a small glass of warm water before bed and another as soon as you wake up, you help keep the blood flowing smoothly. A study published in Neurology showed that dehydration is a common trigger for strokes, especially in older adults. Just these 2 glasses of water each day could make a big difference. Think of it as giving your heart and brain a gentle boost at the times they need it most. 2. Stand up and stretch every hour. Sitting for long periods makes blood pool in the legs, slows circulation, and raises the risk of clots. Many seniors spend hours watching TV or reading, not realizing how stillness harms their heart. A simple fix: set a timer or use TV commercial breaks as a reminder to stand up, stretch, and take a few steps around the room every hour. This tiny change has big benefits. Research in the American Heart Journal found that breaking up sitting time with light movement reduced blood pressure and improved circulation in older adults. Even 2 minutes of gentle movement, raising your arms, rolling your shoulders, walking to the kitchen, can reawaken the blood vessels and lower stroke risk. Practice bedtime breathing for 5 minutes. Stress and poor sleep are silent enemies of the heart. They raise blood pressure, disrupt rhythms, and inflame the arteries. But you don't need a yoga studio or meditation app to fight stress. Right before bed, simply sit comfortably, close your eyes, and take slow, deep breaths, inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 2, and exhaling for 6. This practice calms the nervous system, lowers nighttime blood pressure, and helps you fall asleep more easily. A study in the Journal of Hypertension found that seniors who practice deep breathing daily reduce their systolic blood pressure by an average of 5 to 7 millimeters of mercury. That's enough to cut stroke risk significantly without any pills. These 3 habits, hydrating at key times, moving every hour, and calming your body with bedtime breathing, are realistic, free, and can be done in the comfort of your home. They may seem small, but over weeks and months, they add up to powerful protection for your heart and brain. We've now walked together through 10 powerful foods and 3 simple daily habits that can protect your heart and reduce your risk of stroke. From humble beans and juicy tomatoes to golden turmeric, ruby red pomegranates, and even a piece of dark chocolate, each food showed us how nature provides tools to keep our arteries clear and our blood flowing freely. And with habits as simple as drinking a glass of water before bed, standing up to stretch each hour, and practicing calming breaths before sleep, you've seen that prevention doesn't always require a prescription. Sometimes it just takes intention. The truth is, stroke is not an inevitable part of aging. Yes, our bodies grow older, and yes, our hearts and blood vessels have worked hard for decades. But every choice we make, what we put on our plate, how often we move, how we care for our stress, either pushes us closer to risk or pulls us further toward safety. And the beautiful part? Even small steps add up. 1 more serving of beans this week. 1 extra stretch during your favorite TV show. 1 mindful moment before bed. These little decisions, repeated consistently, create a shield around your heart and brain. Think of it this way: your future health is built in the quiet moments of today. Seniors who take action, who choose water instead of soda, who swap white potatoes for sweet potatoes, who pause to breathe deeply instead of letting stress take over, are the ones who stay independent, active, and joyful well into their later years. But knowledge only matters if you use it. So here's my encouragement to you. Start with just one change this week. Maybe it's adding ground flax seeds to your oatmeal, or pouring yourself a small glass of pomegranate juice, or simply setting a timer to remind you to get up and move. Then, build from there. I'd also love to hear from you. Which of these foods or habits are you already practicing, and which ones will you try this week? Share your answer in the comments below. Your experience may inspire someone else. If you or a loved one are over 60, type 1 in the comments. And if you're ready to take control of your heart health naturally, type Z. And please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. Together, we're building a community of seniors who are not just living longer, but living stronger. Remember this simple truth. Caring for your health today is protecting your tomorrow. Your heart deserves it. Your brain deserves it. And most of all, you deserve it.